when I'm learning from someone, I don't want to be told what to think. I want to be told how to think. So if I was going to work with you, Chris, or with you, Brad, or even with you, Tim, like, how do I think about the information this is giving me? How do I think about this AI? Now, Tim, let me ask you, from a technical perspective of AI, is AI designed to tell you what to think or how to think? And then, Brad, the same question for you as an RIA advisor. Is your job to tell a client what to think or how to think? And how do those two worlds kind of clash and combine here?
That's a great question. I think that if you just talk to a naked large language model, right? So if you just go to ChatGPT, it will definitely, you can definitely get it to tell you what to think, right? It'll give you a confident narrative that sounds like it has ironclad conclusions. And that's because, especially with the way that these models are trained with reinforcement learning, after the kind of initial large language model is built, it really, I'm going to anthropomorphize the model a little bit here. It really wants to have a nice narrative, that it's conditioned to produce text that has a strong logical flow and narrative to it. And a lot of that conditioning is to help prevent some of the worst edge cases where the model produces nonsense or offensive language or things like that. And so because of that conditioning that's been baked into the model, it will be very confidently wrong and it'll sound really compelling. And so a lot of our engineering has been trying to move away from having the model tell you what to think, and more having that structure of, here are the facts and how you can put them together. And if I understand you correctly, that's more of the how to think, is here are the different pieces that are true, right? We're going to draw them directly from the primary sources, show you a connection to the primary source. And then you, as an expert user, are going to be able to combine that with your knowledge about the world to determine what is true and what you should do. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're not going to tell you to buy AMC or sell AMC. We are going to tell you, this is what these different news sources have said, or this is what the financial data says in terms of PE ratios or standard deviations or what have you.
All right, and Brad, my follow-up question with, you take that information. So if an AI is telling you pretty much what to think, how do you take that and transform it into, here's how to think, not what to think? Or do you just tell the client what to think if that's what they want to hear?
That will never work.
Love it.
Chris and I would be out of business. Our main job, and 90% of what we do, is listen.
Yeah.
All we're doing is listen to the client. And it doesn't really, in the end, to a certain extent, our opinion matters, but we're formulating that opinion based upon their financial goals, their risk tolerance. Everything is about that client. I invest in a certain way. And actually, I was reading an interesting book by Josh Brown talking about how I invest or how Chris invests. There was a book about it that was interesting, but it doesn't really matter how I invest to a certain extent. They need to know our philosophy of how we do things. But in the end, it's all about that client. And I think that's the difference. You can ask great questions of AI if you've listened to what's going on, and it can give you some ideas. And I want to definitely get on the model development side, because I know Chris and I both have kind of worked with that a little bit. But it's really communication. It is that client, their risk tolerance, what they're doing. That's the most important part. And that's where I think this idea of where the advisor really, plays a role in this whole ecosystem.
Well, I think to jump on Brad, again, I go back to, how ETFs have become transformative for an RIA. You see these firms like, where I see this from a marketing standpoint, really helping, younger AIs or, people like Brad and myself that use these tools, is we're able to stay out in front of the pack. Why, again, there's a lot of AI, RIAs, registered investment advisors, that are basically going to die on the vine if they don't start using the newer tools. And we've seen that so far, because you see firms that are growing and firms that are, if you're not going forward, you're going backwards. And especially when it comes to marketing, I look for the day that we have AI hooked up to our website. Somebody gets on our website, we watch where they're going on the website, or not we, the AI watches where they go on the website. And the final conclusion is, would you like to schedule, an appointment, either virtual or in person, with Chris and his team? And they click on it, our calendar comes up, and boom, I walk in and it's already been done. And you shorten, it's all about shortening that cycle. I mean, I hate to say, our business is very simple, but our business is, get ourselves out there for people, have them learn who we are, have them trust us, and then have them become clients, bring the money in, open accounts, invest the money. It's the same thing over and over again. And, AI can speed up that process like we talked about previously.